If police want to search your home, they need a search warrant. That's the law.
That's right. But new tonight, investigative reporter Ben Hall found one county where officers either don't know the law or ignored it.
I'm just trying to make a living and raise my kids.
Jessica Newnham is a single mom who just moved into this White County house.
All I do is work and stay home.
Last month, she laid down for a nap after work. Unaware, sheriff's deputies were racing toward her house. After surrounding her property, Sheriff Odie Shoup banged on her door.
White County Sheriff's Office, open the door, David.
Looking for his nephew, David Pecor, a fugitive who had missed a court date.
And then I heard deep voices, so I unplugged my fan and I asked what was going on. I was like, what? I thought it was my kids.
But when no one answered the door, the sheriff went inside.
And the sheriff opened up my bedroom door with a gun pointed at me, telling me he had a warrant to search the house, but never showed me anything.
Got warrant. Open the door.
Audio from the dash cam reveals how shocked Newnham was.
Who? For me?
No, I'm looking for David.
David who?
Pecor.
Who's that?
Newnham says she has never met David Pecor and was traumatized by the sheriff's actions.
You don't know him? Okay, come on out here. Have a seat right here. We're going to look around.
Deputies searched her house with dogs but came up empty.
We're serving a warrant on a subject that was my nephew.
Sheriff Shoup did have an arrest warrant that day, but admits he did not try to get a search warrant.
We don't have to have a search warrant. If we got reasonable probable cause, which we did, and the subject that lived there prior was my nephew, the brother to this subject, and we made entry.
Deputies believed Pecor was inside because they saw a car that resembled his in the driveway, and Pecor's brother had rented the home months earlier.
Nobody was hurt. She was treated with respect. She was released, and I apologized, and that's all I owe her.
But legal experts insist the law is not on the sheriff's side.
He needed a search warrant to go into that woman's house, and the entrance was absolutely unlawful.
Attorney David Rabin says officers can't barge into people's homes just because they have an arrest warrant. A search warrant is different. It requires a judge's permission to go inside.
This is not some obscure law that nobody's heard about. The Supreme Court decided this issue over 30 years ago.
Sir, you guys need to leave my house.
And this was not the first time Shoup's department has entered the home of an innocent person without a search warrant.
They didn't ask any permission, they just kind of shoved in.
Lance Davis was shocked when White County deputies showed up at his house 2 years ago.
Supposedly they're looking for a guy who I've never heard of and I've never met. You don't have a warrant to search in my residence. Yes, we do. Yeah, provide it. Show it to me.
Deputies found nothing, but again claimed they did not need a search warrant.
It's called probable cause, okay? The gentleman that we're looking for, he has a felony warrant against him.
You cannot go from house to house with only an arrest warrant.
Vanderbilt law professor Christopher Slobogan says the problem goes well beyond White County.
I think it's fairly common for police to believe that if they have an arrest warrant, that authorizes their entry into any place in which they think the suspect may be. But in fact, that's not the law.
I've never had a gun drawn on me before.
Jessica Newnham says she's still shaken by what happened.
Ma'am, I'll tell you what, I don't know what you're crying about. I mean, really.
I'm scared.
What are you scared about?
Some things are hard to get over.
One minute I was comfortable in my house, and the next minute I'm up with my hands in the air.
Late today, the sheriff told me he was relying on a Tennessee law that gives him the right to go into homes and make arrests. But legal experts say that law is from 1858, and no state law can override the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court ruled a search warrant is required. Ben Hall, News Channel 5, investigates.
Ben, thank you. Both videos you saw tonight are posted on our website. Just go to newschannel5.com.